Mike. Yeah.
So we can just start.
Come on, give it to your. Yeah! Fucking sick. So
it's like, go ahead.
Well, fucking let's get into this. And I'm freaking. The Fever is the best board I've ridden. I'm psyched. You're the master behind the craft here. What do you think?
Well, I think we got lucky because, like, you know, we've been able to work off one of ours, the existing curve that is so good and so functional, and then blended it with your Fred whip, which you like, which has the hip, slightly wider nose, slightly wider tail. That's the first one we made.
So it's pretty rad. Like, I think when we first brought this to the table, remember we're like, I wanted the elements from each board put in one. It was like the speed of the Flair, the like quickness of the MBM, and then like the sharp arcs of the Rookie.
Right.
And kind of a remix too, I guess, was right in there.
Yeah.
And so we were just fired up.
And I think the thing that, you know, when we first put the bump, the MBM style hip on it, is similar to what you had on the Fred. That's when you first came back and like it finally has the release off the lip that you were looking for, because that was one thing you didn't feel like you were getting.
Yeah.
And that's what really linked it all together. And then from then, the Fever was born.
It's just the magic that going. You kept just whittling it down. We're like, yeah, add this, minus this.
Yep.
I think that's probably my favorite thing coming from the other boards was like, you know, the Rookie and the MBM, I felt were like really great boards in certain conditions. Like the Rookie, remember I was going to Bells and all the points shaving, I was like, oh, I was sick for the huge swoops, but then I was like going on the QS and going like, oh man, I want to be doing airs in between. It's like air to carve, air.
You wanted something to combine more into one, like having to ride less boards.
Yeah, just a hamster.
More, you know, more of an all-arounder.
Yeah, they were just like,
you know what I mean?
No, I know. That's what do you know in terms of the technical side of it. You know, what were you kind of vibing on?
Well, what I call this is a continuous rocker, but not extreme. It's nowhere near as much as the Proton, and it has, after we took the length off it, we've reduced the rocker overall, so it's got less rocker than a Rookie. It's got a similar entry into the fins on the rail rocker as the Rookie, but it has a slightly shallower concave, which doesn't make it as critical. You know, it doesn't need to be always completely on rail to make it work, so it's a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more all around. And then putting, like I said, putting the hip in it, gave you that pivot off the bottom and the release in the lip that you were looking for. But overall, it's like, it's sort of detuning from the amount of, you know, technical stuff involved in the Proton and the Rookie.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a baby brother to that. It's a little bit less, it's a little bit more simple.
Which is exactly what we want.
You know,
eliminate too many. There's so many good things.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing extreme about it.
Yeah.
And you know,
keep it simple.
Having that wider, fuller nose and wider tail brings it more towards the more groveler board that you were riding in the smaller conditions, but obviously, so it's really right in between that. It's in between your Fred whip and in between your Rookie or your Proton. More all round, more full.
And I think that's kind of the elements I was like on bringing to my shortboards was like that creativity I was getting in my like groveler and small wakeboards, because I was like, I felt like you were either like on this kind of more gunny approach where it's like, okay, it's all cars, and I was never getting like huge releases or big airs, and I wanted to elevate that in those conditions. And I think that's why to me the Fever is I'm just not riding anything else because it's like, hey, I can ride it at 6 foot soup bowls, I can ride it at T-Street 2 feet, and it's gonna get in the same.
And what's cool about this board, of all the boards I've been able to be involved with CI, is that I haven't had any bad feedback on this. Other boards can be hit and miss, you know.
Do you think that's because of the simplicity of the design?
Yeah.
It's just easy to jump on?
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, and like already at the beginning of 2017, we've already had some results with Killian, you know, winning the Rincon, and a few of the boys up there riding it, and it looks, you know, liking it, and Zeke's liking it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really, like if you look at the new Flyer, it tends to be more of like a back-footed board where Bobby likes that, you know.
Yeah.
But then someone like Dane Reynolds doesn't dig that at all.
Yeah.
But this just seems to be more neutral with a bigger sweet spot, and guys that are more neutral footed or back or front footed can still both digging this design. So for versatility, which is what we're after, I think this is, you know, had more positive feedback than any of the other ones I've seen. Like continually, people just, dude, I dig my feet.
Yeah.
So that's killer.
Well, it's like I heard someone say, I don't know who was saying, but like, it's kind of like a more accessible tour board. You know, it's like
right.
That. You know, for all the years I spent on tour and trying every design in so many different conditions, and now with free surfs and QSs, it's like it's just easily accessible. You're like, cool. It's like I'm just gonna jump on and grab. You don't have to like overthink it, which is for me a big part because I get too excited and I'm just thinking about everything. But
like you said in the teaser, it opens up the zest for creativity.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the elixir of stoke. You know, it's like I feel like if you're going fast and it's easy to jump on and feel good, you're gonna have a hell of a good session. You know, and that's kind of like really. I don't know. I feel excited. I'm as excited to see more people get into board because it's like I feel like they're just opening up the keys to the house. Like, oh, this is sick. I can't wait to come and have fun here.
The stoke vault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think a few of the boys are going to be riding this at Snapper.
Yeah.
And this could be the board to get Pat back on tour.
That would be insane. That's the goal right here. This is the board.